Men who do this are highly attractive to women. What qualities truly make a man sexy and attractive?
Have you ever wondered why some men seem to effortlessly capture women's attention while others struggle despite having everything going for them on paper? Today, we're diving deep into the psychological mechanisms behind female attraction and what creates that intense, almost addictive draw some men possess. Picture this scenario. You know a guy who's been grinding at the gym for years, built a successful business, drives an impressive car, and dresses impeccably. Yet when he talks to women, something feels disconnected. They're polite but not passionate. They might go on dates but never seem to chase him or show real excitement. Meanwhile, there's another guy you know who lives modestly, doesn't have flashy possessions, and isn't particularly impressive on paper. But women absolutely lose their minds over him. They text him constantly, pursue him relentlessly, and seem genuinely obsessed with getting his attention. What's the difference? What does the second guy understand that the first one completely misses? The answer lies in understanding that everything we've been taught about attraction is fundamentally backwards. We've been sold this idea that female desire works like a checklist, where you accumulate enough status markers and women automatically become interested. Get ripped, make money, develop social skills, prove your worth through achievements, and attraction will follow. This blueprint has created an entire generation of frustrated men who've built impressive external lives while remaining mysteriously unattractive to women. They follow this roadmap religiously, yet never reach their destination because they're navigating with a broken compass. Here's the reality that challenges everything you think you know about attraction. Women don't fall for your accomplishments, they fall for your internal state. They don't get addicted to what you possess. They get addicted to who you are when nobody's watching, when there's nothing to prove, when you're simply being yourself without any agenda. The most magnetic quality a man can develop has nothing to do with his bank account or his physique. It's something far more rare and powerful, something most men never cultivate because they're too busy chasing external validation. Let me introduce you to a concept that explains every case of intense female attraction. It's called perceived value discrepancy. Women develop deep consuming attraction only when they perceive a man's value as significantly higher than their own. But here's the critical part everyone misses. This value isn't measured by objective standards like income or appearance. It's determined by perception, and perception is controlled entirely by your internal state. Consider this example. You're at a social gathering with several people. One man is wealthy, physically fit, and well-dressed. Another man has modest means and average appearance. When someone makes a comment, the average-looking guy delivers a perfectly timed, witty response with complete confidence and authenticity, not trying to be funny or impressive, just naturally being himself. In that single moment, every woman present will feel more attraction toward him than the wealthy man, because he just demonstrated higher perceived value through his internal confidence and authenticity. This is what most men fundamentally misunderstand. Value in attraction is about energy, not inventory. It's about how you carry yourself, not what you carry in your wallet. A man with genuine inner confidence will always outrank someone with external achievements who lacks that inner foundation. Women operate on what I call an energy reading system. When they meet you, they're not calculating your net worth or counting your accomplishments. They're reading your energetic signature and asking themselves unconscious questions. Does this man know his own worth? Is he seeking my approval? Does he need me to validate him? Is he comfortable in his own skin? Within moments, you're categorized as either above her level or below it. If she perceives you as above her, the addiction process begins. If she perceives you as below her, she loses interest, regardless of how impressive your resume might be. The cruel irony is that men who try hardest to impress automatically place themselves in the lower category. When you're working to prove your worth, you're communicating that you don't believe you have inherent value. This kills attraction instantly. Meanwhile, the man who doesn't try to impress anyone, who's comfortable with himself and doesn't need external validation, automatically signals higher value and gets placed in the coveted upper category. One of the most powerful triggers for female attraction is something called social proof, specifically the subtle indication that other women find you desirable. But most men completely botch this concept. They think it means obviously flirting with other women or bragging about past relationships. This amateur approach backfires because it shows you're trying too hard to demonstrate value. Real social proof is subtle and authentic. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're desired, not from desperately trying to prove it. When a woman senses that others find you attractive, she doesn't just become competitive, she becomes genuinely curious about what they see in you. This curiosity is the first stage of attraction addiction. But here's the crucial point. You cannot fake this energy. Women have evolved sophisticated detection systems for authenticity. If you're pretending to have options, while secretly being desperate for her attention, she'll sense the incongruence immediately. This brings us to one of the most important distinctions in understanding attraction, the difference between internal and external value systems. Most men spend their entire lives building external value through money, status, achievements, and physical improvements, while completely neglecting their internal state. They believe that accumulating enough external success markers will automatically make them confident and attractive. But here's what actually happens. You can give someone millions of dollars, perfect physical condition, celebrity status, and model-level looks, and if their internal state remains insecure and needy, they'll still struggle with attraction. Conversely, a man with average external circumstances but rock-solid internal confidence will have women competing for his attention. Why? Because women are attracted to energy, not assets. They fall in love with how you make them feel, not what you can buy them. When your confidence depends on external achievements, it's fragile and conditional. It can be taken away by circumstances beyond your control. But when your confidence comes from genuine self-acceptance and internal peace, it becomes magnetic and unshakable. Nothing destroys female attraction faster than a man seeking validation. When you need her approval, compliments, or attention to feel good about yourself, you enter what I call the validation death spiral. This is why so many outwardly successful men struggle with women. They've built impressive external lives but still need others to validate those achievements to feel worthy. They're like successful people who are still emotionally begging for approval. Women detect this neediness immediately, and it communicates that you don't believe in your own worth. The men who create intense female attraction operate from the opposite mindset. They're self-validated, knowing their worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. They can receive compliments without becoming attached to them and handle criticism without being destroyed by it. This self-validation is incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Most people desperately seek approval from others, so when you encounter someone who doesn't need your validation, it immediately elevates their status in your mind. One of the most attractive qualities you can develop is the ability to be fully present in the moment. This sounds simple, but is actually incredibly rare and powerful. Most men are either mentally living in the past with regrets and comparisons, or in the future with goals and anxieties. They're never truly present with the woman they're talking to, because their minds are racing with strategies and outcomes. But when you can be completely present, truly listening, genuinely engaged, comfortable with silence, you create a magnetic field that draws people in. Women feel seen, heard, and valued in a way most men can't provide. This presence also communicates confidence and self-assurance. A man who can be still and present isn't anxious about the future or haunted by the past. He's comfortable with himself and his current circumstances. Here's a mind-expanding realization. Most of your goals, desires, and insecurities aren't actually yours. They've been programmed into you by society, media, and social conditioning. Why do you want certain physical attributes? Why do you want expensive possessions? Why do you want to make a specific amount of money? If you're honest, it's probably because you've been told these things will make you attractive, successful, or worthy. But what if you started with a clean slate? What if you ignored everything society told you to want and asked yourself what you actually desire? Most men have never done this exercise because they're too busy chasing goals that aren't even their own. The men who create female addiction have broken free from this programmed reality. They live according to their own values, pursue their own interests, and define success on their own terms. This authenticity is magnetic because it's so rare in a world full of people following scripts written by others. When you encounter someone living genuinely according to their own values, it's incredibly attractive and inspiring.